Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my kitchen. Today we are making the most simplest Haitian spaghetti with sardines. It is so delicious. As usual, everything will be listed for you below in the description box. You want to make sure you look at the date of your canned sardine, and also you have to make sure that it says in tomato sauce. Well, at least that's the one I'm using today, the one that says in tomato sauce. So the first thing you want to do, of course, is open up your can, and then you want to drain out all of that tomato sauce. Put that aside because that tomato sauce is actually good. Okay, so we're going to use it in our spaghetti. So after you put that aside, the next thing we're going to do is clean our sardines. So what you want to do is you want to remove the bones, okay? So as you see here, I'm opening up the sardine and I'm going to remove all the big bones, everything that's visible. There are a lot of small little bones in sardines. It's okay if you don't remove every single one because those bones are not harmful, but I try to really take my time during this step and take out as much bones as I possibly can. The bigger ones are very easy to see, but the smaller ones are really like the hassle. Trust me, this is the only difficult part. It is actually not that hard, but this is the only kind of like annoying part to this spaghetti. But it's so worth it at the end because it's so delicious. This is actually my favorite way to eat sardines and spaghetti. So, like with the bigger pieces, as soon as you open it up, you'll see the big bone in the middle. That is so easy to remove. It's really the small pieces that's annoying. You got to get your hands dirty during this part if you really want to take out as much bones as possible. Or you can use a knife like this. Okay, you can go right underneath a table knife and you just pick up the bone. But with me, I'm going to use my hands because I also try to get all the small little annoying pieces out as much as possible. When you're done removing all the bones, you want to grab a fork and mash up your sardines the way that I'm doing here. Make it look like tuna, and that helps when you're cooking it so it can be evenly distributed in the spaghetti. If you leave it in big pieces, which you can, it just won't give you like an even overall taste because some people are going to get some sardines and some people aren't because it's not that much sardine. So I like to just kind of mash it up so that it turns into like almost like tuna, and that way it's mixed in the entire spaghetti. You see what I mean. Then I'm going to use one lime and I'm going to squeeze that lime juice right into my sardines, and that's it, guys. This is how you clean the sardines, and you want to give it a little mix, let that lime juice mix in there, and you're all set. Now I'm going to fill my pot up with water and put it on the stove and let it come to a boil. As that is coming to a boil, I'm going to start on my sardine sauce. So I'm putting in 4 tablespoons of oil, and then I'm going to let that oil heat up a little bit. My stove is on a medium high heat. Now I'm going to bring my sardines straight to the pan. I'm gonna let my sardines fry for 10 minutes. This is very important. You want to fry your sardines, guys. And when I'm frying it, within that 10 minutes, I'm going to stir every now and then just to make sure my sardines doesn't burn. Now I'm putting in about 3 tablespoons of tomato paste, and I'm going to fry that tomato paste before I mix it in. I'm going to bring in a little bit of water, mix it in, a little bit of water, mix it in until my tomato paste is completely loose, okay? And the reason why I do this every time that I'm cooking, I do this because I don't want my food to taste like tomato paste once you bite into it. This eliminates that strong tomato paste taste, but it gives you the flavor that you're going for when you use tomato paste. So now that my tomato paste is completely loose, I'm going to mix it into the sardines. So when it's all nicely mixed into my sardines, I'm going to grab my Haitian epis and put in 3 tablespoons of it. I'll link that above and below for you on how I make this delicious Haitian epis, which really is the base to most of our good Haitian food. When my epis is nicely mixed in, I'm going to bring that tomato sauce that I got from the can of sardines over to my pan. Now, you have to make sure there's no bones. See, I found a bone that was in the sauce. You want to make sure you can use a strainer. I didn't, but it's good to use a strainer so you make sure you don't bring in any of those big pieces of bone. And throughout the whole cooking process, you might see 1 or 2 bones in the pan. You can just politely take it out. That's what I do. So you bring that tomato sauce over, you mix it all in. This is how your sardine sauce should be looking now. I'm going to grab 2 Laughing Cow cheese, the original flavor, and 1 Maggie cube, and I'm going to crush that finely, and I'm going to mix it all in. To get the Laughing Cow cheese to mix in, you want to press it down and then you just keep mixing until it's all nicely mixed in to your sardines, and this really enhances the flavor. It gives it a nice creamy and like just amazing flavor. It doesn't taste like cheese at all. It's not going to taste like cheese, but the Laughing Cow cheese just gives it a really nice taste. I put Laughing Cow cheese in my regular spaghetti, and I also definitely put it in this spaghetti, and it really gives it a good kick because I've done it without it and it's like something's missing. So you definitely want to get the original flavor Laughing Cow cheese. So when that's all mixed in, I'm going to bring my stove down to the lowest heat possible and let that simmer. Now let's go to our pot. The water should be boiling at this point. I'm going to be using spaghetti pasta. It is a 2 pound box, but I only use half of this. So I'm using 1 pound of spaghetti. You always want to follow the instructions in the back of the box of your pasta. Every pasta brand is different. So this cooking process here, I'm just following the steps behind the box, and I'm going to add my little Haitian twist, which is putting in some parsley, putting in some green onions, and then I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of salt. You have to add the salt now. If you don't add the salt now, there's no going back with pasta. You have to add the salt when you are boiling the water. I'm going to use my tongs just to move it around so it doesn't stick together. I did break my pasta. I just like to do that for spaghetti and sardines. I don't normally do it for my regular spaghetti with hot dogs, but I always do it for sardines. And here we have our eggs boiling. If you know, you know. You have to have Haitian spaghetti with some eggs. As my spaghetti is boiling, the box said 12 minutes, so I'm going to let it stay for 12 minutes. I'm going to go back to my sardines and continue that sauce. So I'm going to put in 1 cup of my spaghetti sauce. You can use whichever spaghetti sauce you choose to, or you could even use tomato sauce. So I'm using 1 cup of my spaghetti sauce, and I'm going to mix that in. Now I brought my stove to a medium heat. Remember, it was on the lowest heat, so I brought it back to a medium heat. After that's all mixed in, I'm putting in my vegetables, which is my onions and my bell peppers, and 1 stick of thyme. Because this is sardine, I like to have a little bit of kick, so I'm putting in a Scotch bonnet pepper. Now I'm adding in 1 cup of water from the water that is cooking my pasta. That's the water you want to use in your sardine sauce because that is the water that has flavor in it. After we mix everything in, you definitely want to taste it, see what's missing. This tastes amazing, but I gotta add my black pepper and a pinch of salt. So I'm adding in a quarter teaspoon of black pepper and just about 2 to 3 pinches of salt for flavor. Not that it doesn't already have flavor, but I'll say for extra flavor, just to tie everything in together. And once I put that in, I'm pretty much done. So now I'm going to just let this cook a little bit, and then my pasta should be done now. So I'm moving back to the pot that was cooking my pasta, and what I'm going to do is just remove 1 cup of water from it. The reason why I'm removing 1 cup and setting it aside is because when I put my pasta in, if I feel that it needs a little bit more liquid, then I have that water there just in case. You definitely want to do this because there's been time where I cook my pasta, and when I put my pasta in, there's not enough sauce, and I already threw away the water that was full of flavor, so I had to use regular water, and that kills the taste. So you want to put that aside just in case. In my case here today, I didn't need it, but if you're making more pasta than I did, then maybe you may need it, so definitely do that. So now I'm draining out my pasta. I removed all the vegetables from it, and now it's ready to go. I'm going back to my sauce, and I'm putting in a tablespoon of butter. You have to seal the deal with butter. Butter is a flavor, okay? And now I'm bringing in my pasta to the pan, and now I'm going to just basically let my pasta drink in all that sauce. You're basically folding in the sardine right into your pasta. That's all you're doing here. And once everything is nicely folded in, I'm gonna put some fresh onions on top because I like for my onions not to be too soft. Some of them not to be too soft. I also just removed the stick of thyme because you don't need that anymore. That was just for flavor. Once everything is all folded in well, I'm going to cover my spaghetti and let that cook for an additional 10 to 15 minutes, and then we are ready to serve this baby. It is so delicious, guys. Definitely give it a try. Thank you for kicking in here in the kitchen with me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed bringing it for you. This recipe is very simple. It's definitely my go-to when I had a long day and I want something to eat, but I don't want to work too hard. This is my go-to. If you give this recipe a try, come back and let us know in the comment section how it worked out for you. I am urging you to try it. If you like Haitian spaghetti, try it with sardines, guys. It doesn't matter which brand sardine, as long as it's sardine in a can with tomato sauce, go ahead and try it and you won't regret it. Thank you again for watching this video. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bon appetit!